Hello, welcome everyone to our live Friday class. Hi, Louisa.
Hello, Rachel. How you doing?
Doing
How's
good.
everybody doing out there? Happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday. I'm excited that today we're actually streaming live to both of our channels. So some folks
Wow.
are joining us at Sam's Bead Shop on our YouTube channel, and some folks are coming over from Misty Moon Designs. So I love
That's
that we
awesome.
everywhere. So yeah, for folks who don't know, we collaborated on the October Sam's Bead Box with a Woodland fairy themed, and you made so many designs that we had to do another class today to show everyone what you've been up to.
Yes, I can't wait. I really love this pendant that I'm going to show you how to make.
Yeah, and what kinds of techniques will we be using today?
So we're gonna be doing some bead weaving, but very minimal. So those of you who are new at bead weaving, don't panic. I know it can be a little intimidating, but we're going to use very few beads, very few seed beads today. So it should be doable for pretty much everybody.
Perfect. Okay, well, to get into it, do you want to flip your camera around?
Yes.
And we can start showing everyone what's going on?
Of course.
All right, she's flipping her camera around. Here's just a reminder of all of the beautiful beads that were in our Woodland fairy box. So we had flowers, amethyst, like druzy pendants. How cool is that? Other types of amethysts. We had like a couple different types of apatite. And then the Chet glass had a lot of AB and iris. That was like what this box is all about. Is all about flash and color and bringing like more magical tones with the more natural tones. So we've shown off, let's see, a bracelet and an earring a couple weeks ago, and now Louisa has a necklace design that we're going to learn today. It'll have a little bit of bead weaving, and it will be fabulous. All right, Louisa, I just added you back onto the screen.
Okay.
Let's see.
Now my center. Let me see. Should I move it to the right a little bit?
Yep. Now you are perfect. That is centered.
Are you sure? Okay.
Oh, now you're a little off. You went too far. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Okay. So I have my seed beads here, as you can see. They're size 15-0. And the color of these seed beads is like an iris color. I can't, where's the...
And I forgot, do you have the finished piece? We should totally show that off. Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot. Okay. We got to do that first.
Let me move these seed beads out of the way. Give me a sec.
No problem.
So here it is.
Oh, cool. And okay, so that piece is what we're going to learn how to do.
That pendant, yes, exactly. With the 2 dangles and 5 dagger beads and a little bit of seed bead weaving at the top. Not very much at all. And then the rest of the necklace is, the strands are just 6mm size beads. These are the 5 polished. These are the apatite. These are the drux. And I just alternated between the 5 polished apatite, 5 polished drug, 5 polished, and these other green ones, apatite. I'm sorry, drux. I just alternated basically. That's what I did with these strands, and until you get the length that you want. Cool. But we're gonna learn how to make this piece here today.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so what do we need to get started with that?
All right, so you're going to need some size 15-0 seed beads, and I don't even know what brand these are, but as you can see, they have similar colors. They're kind of like an iris. There's some copper colors, some purple colors, gold, similar to what's in the dagger beads, similar. So, you know, any size 15-0 seed beads that has these colors in them would be great. Or, you know, you can pick one of the colors if you want to. And then we're also going to need some sky apatite beads. Is that what you call these? Sky apatite, size 3 size. These are 3mm in size, and the dagger beads. So let me put these down. And of course, the seed beads. We're going to start with the seed beads. We're going to start with these and the seed beads, and you're going to need some fire line. And I used 6-pound fire line in a smoke color. the thing is covered up, so we can't see what it is, but it is 6 pound, as you can see. And a size 11 I'm sorry, a size 11 needle, beading needle, okay? And I already have my thread threaded on. You're going to need about 30 inches of file line. So this first part is very, very simple, but what I like to do is to figure out what side of the bead I want facing out or facing front, because with these daggers, the back side is a little different from the front side. So these have green on one side and then purple or something like that on the other side, green or purple or copper, whatever. So what I do is I line them up like this, the way I want them to face the front. And you can do it any way you want. Okay. And then I'm going to simply slide them onto my needle like this, all 5 of them. So that's what it looks like. And you can do it anyway. It doesn't have to be that precise. But as you can see, I'm alternating between green and then the back side of the bead, green, the back side of the bead, green. And I'm going to slide them down to the other end of the thread. And I'm going to leave myself about, I would say 7 inches, something like that, 6 to 7 inches, the tail, because now we're going to do a little square knot. So I'm going to go up and over. Let me try that again. Let's see. I'm going to go up and over. I'm going to go through twice like this. Let me know if I get off frame, okay? And pull. And that pulls them together like this.
Oh, cool.
And you can do it a second time just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to go through the loop twice like this and pull. And that's what we have so far. So it's already looking like a little flower.
I know, it already looks special.
Doesn't it? Isn't it cute? And now what you want to do is you want to navigate away from that knot. So I'm going to go through the next bead, actually 2 beads like this, just to get away from that knot. Okay. And I'm holding onto the tail with these fingers. You want the tail out of the way. We're not going to tie it off just yet. We're going to tie it off in a few minutes. So now I'm going to load 3 seed beads, size 15-0. And I'm going to go through the bead that I'm exiting from. I'm going to go through the bead on the opposite side. So I'm exiting off this side. I'm going to go through the opposite side again, like this. And pull. Actually, you know what? I actually only needed 2 beads. So let me offload one. Sorry about that. Okay, so 2 beads, 2 seed beads. I'm going to go through the opposite side and pull. You want to make sure that the seed beads lay on top of the dagger, like this, and pull. And that's what you want. And I know it looks a little wonky right now, but it'll tighten up once we add more beads. So now I'm going to go through the next dagger bead, like this. I'm going to load 2 seed beads, go through the opposite end of the same seed bead that I'm exiting from. And
Oh,
notice
so we are looping back
yeah,
through
we're
that
looping.
dagger.
Exactly, we're looping. And now I'm going to pull, and as you can see, those 2 seed beads that are laying on top. And when you're doing this, it's helpful if you hold on to the daggers like this. So now I'm going to go through the next dagger bead like this, load 2 seed beads, and I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting from. So it's making like a little loop. Okay. Let me get this tail out of the way. So now I'm going to go through the next one. Load 2 15-0 seed beads. Hold on to the dagger bead like this to make it easier, and then go through the opposite side. And pull. You want to make sure you don't get all tangled up with the other dagger beads. That's the only thing you have to be careful with. So now we have 4, and we have one
I
more
think
to do.
if you can just hold it like an inch or two up, not yeah,
Oh,
that's
you
more
mean this
center.
way? More
Yeah,
center?
yeah, perfect.
Okay. So as you can see, I have 4 dagger beads with 2 seed beads on top. I'm going to do one more. So I'm going to load 2 seed beads and go through the opposite end of that same dagger bead that I'm exiting from and pull. Did I do that? No, I didn't do that, did I? Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to go through the bead first. So let me exit out of this bead again.
Oh, good. You guys were
And
really live, we promise.
yes, I can't video edit this one out.
Well, you know, this might happen to other folks as they're making the piece. So we all know we're not alone. We all do this.
And you know something, even after having done this a million times, I still do the same thing. I forget to go through the dagger first. So you have to go through the dagger first, okay? Like this.
Okay, before you add your 2 seed beads.
Exactly, exactly. And now I'm going to add the 2 seed beads and go through the opposite end.
See, I
Like this.
actually seeing you do it the other way and then fixing it, now it makes even more sense. It's actually surprisingly helpful.
Yeah, because you know what? You're going to do it. You're going to end up making the
Yep.
same mistake that I just did, because I'm telling you, I've done that so many times. I forget to go through that bead first, but that's what you want. As you can see, each one of these daggers has 2 seed beads on the front side, and it'll straighten out once we add the next set of beads. Okay, so now I'm exiting out of this side, this bead. I'm going to go through the 2 seed beads that are laying on top of the same bead. And this part's a little tricky because it's still kind of loose, because we're stepping up now. This is what we call stepping up. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. So now I've stepped up to the row of seed beads. Can you see that? It'll make sense once I start adding the next set of beads.
Yeah, you're coming out of a set of the seed beads now.
Exactly.
Got
So
it.
I exited out of this dagger bead on this side, and then I immediately went up to the 2 seed beads that are sitting on top.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So now we're going to get the apatite beads. Let me just get a drink of water. Hold on.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now these are a bit tricky to pick up because it's hard to find the holes. So I'm just going to pick them up and do it this way. Okay, so there's a 3mm sky apatite bead. I'm exiting out of these 2 seed beads. I'm going to jump over to the next set of 2 seed beads, the next dagger bead, or the next set of 2 seed beads that are sitting on top of the next dagger bead. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm just going from the sets of seed beads from one set to the next.
Got it. We're filling the space between
Exactly.
the seed bead pairs.
I think you can see that right there.
Yeah, actually, if you hold it maybe an inch closer to the mat, I think it might be more in focus.
Like
Yeah,
that.
there we go.
Okay. So let me do that again. We have to do this 5 times. So there's my next apatite bead. And I'm going to jump from this set of 15-0 seed beads to the next set. Like that. and pull.
Can I pause and ask you one question? Someone
Sure.
just asked. So they asked, when you stepped up from the dagger up to those two seed beads, did that mean did that cause you to go in the opposite direction?
Yes, yes, exactly. So now I'm going clockwise, whereas before I was going counterclockwise.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for
Yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah. Because it's like that's what it is. It's weaving. Like you don't want to, you want to weave back and forth so that you don't see a lot of thread. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this tail, okay? Because it's just in the way. And I didn't want to do it earlier because everything was kind of loose. So you want to wait till things are kind of tight before you get rid of the tail. And what I'm doing here is I'm flattening the end to make it easier for me to, thread it onto the needle. Hopefully I can do it without any problems because my eyesight's kind of bad. It helps if you flatten it like I showed you. There we go. So I'm just going to pull it through just a little bit. And you don't have to make too many knots because we had that initial knot, which is pretty strong, right? So I'm not going to worry about making a million knots, but I'm going to jump up. I'm coming out of this one. I'm going to go through the next one like this. I'm going to grab a thread bridge from underneath somewhere like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Pull and go through the loop and pull. And let me do it one more time. I'm going to go through the next dagger bead. Grab another thread bridge from underneath here. I'm sure you can see that. And go through the loop and pull. And I'm going to snip it off at this point, but you can do that as many times as you want to. You can do it 3, 4 times. But I mean, this part's, this part of the pendant is not going to get a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah. And I usually wait till the end to get rid of my tail, but I like this idea of just doing it once your piece is feeling more stable, just so it doesn't get in your way, because it does
Right.
often get tangled.
Yeah. And see, the reason I want it, because what's going to happen next is we're going to go underneath these apatite beads and it's going to cinch everything together. So it makes it more difficult to get rid of the knot if you add more beads. You'll
Oh,
see what
cool.
I mean. Yeah, you'll see what I mean later on. But it's just easier to get rid of the knot at this point than to wait till you add the other beads. Because the more beads you add, the tighter the whole thing gets. So now I'm going to load another 3mm apatite. I'm coming out of these 2 seed beads right here. I'm going to go to the next set like this and pull. So now we have 3. Okay.
Oh, got it. We're back on our working thread and we're just filling the space between the seed bead pairs
Exactly.
with our
Exactly.
apatite bead. Got
Yeah.
it. And you can really see where they go because there's that kind of missing, that empty space between our seed beads.
Yeah. It's just big enough to fit these apatite beads. These fit perfectly on those spaces. Whoops. So I'm going through the next set of 2 seed beads and I'm popping that one in place. So now we have 4. Let me do one more. It's really hard to find the holes in these little tiny beads. All right, so I'm coming out of the 2 seed beads over here. I'm going to go through the next 2 seed beads like that. Hope you guys can see that. And pull. And now we have a little crown sitting right on top of those dagger beads.
Oh, we do. Totally.
Yeah, looks like a little crown, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have to reinforce because like I said, this pendant isn't going to get a lot of wear and tear. Once we put the beads on top of that and turn it into a pendant, we're going to knock the whole thing off after we get done loading the beads. But um, if you want to go, through the whole thing again, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. So now I'm coming out of the 2 seed beads here. I'm going to go ahead and go through the next apatite bead on this row. And the next 2 seed beads. I always kind of like to move away from where I exit. Like when I go to the next set or the next row, I like to move away from it for some reason. I don't know why. So now I'm coming out of the 2 seed beads, okay? And now we're going to add another set of seed beads underneath these apatite beads. And each one's going to have 3. So this time I'm going to load 3 seed beads. I'm coming out of these 2 seed beads. I'm going to jump over to the next 2 seed beads like this. Can you guys see it? Is it focusing? I'm not sure if it is or not.
Yeah, that looks good there.
Pull. And that's going to deposit those 3 seed beads underneath the apatite bead, just like that. Okay. So I'm going to load another 3 seed beads. I'm coming out of the 2 seed beads right here. These are the 2 that we added in between the apatite beads, or the ones that are in between the apatite beads. I'm going to go to the next set of 2 seed beads. So I'm skipping the apatite beads. I'm not going through them at all. Like that. And pull. And that deposits those 3 seed beads underneath that apatite bead. Let's do that again. We've got to do it 5 times. So 3 15-0 seed beads. I'm coming out of this set of 15-0 seed beads. I'm going to skip the apatite bead and I'm going to go through the next set of 15-0 seed beads. So I didn't change directions in this round. I'm going in the same clockwise direction. Does that make sense? We did clockwise when we added the apatite beads, and we're still doing clockwise with these 3 seed beads underneath each apatite bead. So let me load another 3 seed beads. That's 2, 3. I'm going to skip the apatite bead. I'm going to go to the next set of 15-0 seed beads and pull. So there's that set. And we have one more set to do. So 3 15-0 seed beads, like that. Skipping the apatite bead and going to the next set of 2 seed beads, like this, and pull. So we've completed this round now. As you can see, each one of the apatite beads has a little set of 3 seed beads underneath.
Yeah, they each have a little framing around them.
Exactly. And we only have one more thing to do, and this is very simple.
Oh, wow.
I know, can you believe it?
we're almost done.
This is the easiest bead weaving project you can ever do. So we're coming out of these 2 seed beads here. And this time I am going to go through the apatite bead, the one that's adjacent to the set of 2. Let me see if I can find where the hole is. It's very challenging once it's on the, once it's, woven in. It's difficult to.
Yeah, it's a little bit at an angle probably.
Yeah, so here I am coming out of the apatite bead, the one that was adjacent to the 2 seed beads. And now I'm going to pick up one. And I'm going to jump over to the next apatite bead like this. And pull. And that pops that little seed bead in between. Just like that. So once again, let me pick up one seed bead. Jump over to the next apatite bead. Whoops. Let me see if I can get it through there like this.
I see. So for this round, we're just adding one more 15-0 between each apatite.
Exactly. Yep. And pull. And it fits perfectly in between those apatite beads, as you can see. So you don't see the threads or anything. So let me do that again. I'm going to jump over to the next apatite bead and pull. We need two more. Jumping over to the next apatite bead like this and pull. And we just need one more. Let me see if I can get the right angle here. There we go. And pull. And that's it. It's very, very easy, guys. It really is. It doesn't get any easier than that. The only difficult part about this project is that the seed beads are so tiny. You know, size 15-0 is very small.
True.
And usually I wear my magnifiers, but the magnifiers get in the way. So I didn't want to do that today. But so now it's just a matter of doing a few knots. So I'm going to go through the next seed bead, the single one, the first one that I added in this row. Like this. And pull. I'm going to go in between the seed bead and the apatite bead to grab a thread bridge. See if I can do it. Like this. I know it's very small and you guys can't see it, but it's the thread that connects all the beads on that upper row. I'm going to pull and go through the loop to make a little knot. And now I'm going to go through the next apatite bead and pull, and that pulls that little knot inside that bead so you don't even see it. So once again, I'm going to go through the 15-0 seed bead. Go underneath a thread bridge in between these two beads, the seed bead and the apatite bead. Let me just grab the needle this way. Like this. Hang on. It's tricky. Like this. Make a loop and go through the loop. And now pull to make a little knot. And I'm going to go through the apatite bead. And anyway, you can do that as many times as you want to. I find that, you know, doing it a couple of times like I did is sufficient.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, if you were making a bracelet or something else that's where there's a lot of wear and tear, then you would want to definitely do at least 3 knots. But we're
That's
not doing that
helpful.
today.
But yeah, for a pendant, it's just going to hang there. You're not going to be tugging at it like a bracelet.
No, and basically right now I'm just moving away from the knots. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to move away before I snip off the thread. So that's it. We're pretty much done with this part. So now we're going to snip off the fire line like that. And that's what we have. I think it's so cute. Look at that.
I know. There's
Isn't it
so
cute?
many things that it looks like. It's fairy wings. Like you mentioned, dragonfly wings. It's a crown. It has so many beautiful images to me.
It could be anything, but part of it is the colors of the beads. Like,
True.
can you imagine them being transparent with some AB? That would be really nice.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see this in other colors. I hope people will try that.
Yeah. So now we don't need these beads anymore. We're done with these.
Goodbye.
Do you know how many seed beads you need for this project? I
That
actually
was
count.
not very many.
I actually counted them. 20.
20? Wow.
20. That's it. All right. So now we're going to embellish this. We're going to add the beads on top and the loops and everything else.
Yeah. Now we make it wearable.
Exactly. So we have a piece of 20 gauge wire. We have this bead right here from the mix, this mix right here, the check glass druck
Oh
round
yeah.
mix.
Yeah, that
And
one
you,
had the 4, 6, and 8 millimeter beads in there.
right. Did I just move the focus of my camera? I don't know if I moved it, but anyway. So this one's 8 millimeters. This is one of the rondelles that came on that strand, the multicolored strand.
Got it. The 3 by 5 millimeter rondelles.
3 by 5 millimeter. And then this one is part of that same druck mix. This is the 4 millimeter
Okay.
size.
Got
Okay.
it.
Um, we also need some chain. Oh my gosh, did I not bring the chain? We need some chain.
You can borrow some from your finished piece if you need
Yeah,
to.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I will. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that part.
No worries.
So we need 2 pieces of chain, okay? And one piece will be longer than the other one. Hang on
Okay.
a sec.
Yeah, because you use chain in the centerpiece, and then folks might want chain for the rest of the necklace. Though people could do it just with beads and jump rings. But folks have a lot of flexibility with how they do the chain of the rest of the necklace.
Yeah, I mean, the way I did it is I used a 3-link piece of chain in between each beaded component
Got it.
just to space them out a little
A
bit.
little bit, yeah. But so yeah, if someone doesn't have chain, you could totally just use 3 jump rings between each one.
Yeah, so this one has 4 links.
Okay.
Okay, let me see how big the links are. I wrote it down somewhere. I think they're 2 by 3 millimeter links. They're very small. And this one has 11 links attached to this bead. And I just used a ball head pin for that and did a wrap loop, which I can actually show you if you want, for those of you who are beginners. But anyway, so now we're going to go ahead and make a loop.
And what gauge wire or head are we using right now?
A 20 gauge.
20 gauge. Thank you.
20 gauge. 20 gauge. So I'm going to grab it about 3/8 of an inch down, something like that. Bend it. And now with my round nose pliers, I'm going to grab the end. And you want to make sure that your end is flush with your barrels to get a nice round shape. And I'm going to create a loop. Just like that. And I always flatten, lately I've been flattening my loops just to make sure they're nice and closed. Let me go ahead and open up the loop. Slide on one of the dangles like this. And the other dangle like this. Close up my loop. So that's what we have so far. I'm going to insert it through that little hole there. Actually, I need to slide on this bead. The reason I want to slide the bead on is because if you don't slide a bead on, what happens is this loop will come out of this end. And you don't want that. This acts like a stopper. And you don't want to, I wouldn't recommend using anything smaller than 4 millimeters for this because that hole is pretty big and a 3 millimeter bead would slide out of there as well. Does that make sense? Like it acts as a
Nice.
stopper.
Yeah,
So
you
now
need it to
that,
be big enough it
yeah,
needs to be larger, wider than the hole.
yeah, exactly. And you don't want to do just the loop and no bead. Even if you do a big loop, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter because the big loop will go in between, it'll slide out of in between the daggers somehow.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So that's what you want to do. And the other thing I want to,
It's totally hidden, but it's
it's,
important.
yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of it, a little peek of it, which is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
My Alexa just went off. The other thing I want to show you for a different look, if you wanted to, if you insert something larger than a 4 millimeter, I'll show you what happens. Actually, let me show you with one of the rondelles, something smaller. So these are the, what size did you say these were? 3 by
Those are the 3 by 5 millimeter.
So if you insert a 3 by 5 millimeter rondelle and then do it, it changes the way that the petals spread out. Can you see
Oh,
that?
yeah. They get wider, which
Yeah.
someone might like, or they could go either way. That's
If,
helpful. That's interesting. Yeah.
if you're doing like a wire wrapping viney project and you want the flowers facing this way, that's what you could do.
Mm,
Yeah.
cool.
So the size of the bead that you use there determines how far they flare out, how much they flare out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and slide on the 4 millimeter bead again and go through the hole like this. And now I'm going to slide on the 8 millimeter on top of that like this.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that pretty?
It's coming together.
And now this one on top like this. Very, very easy, guys. This is a very easy project. It looks like it's complicated, but it's not. So now we're just going to loop it off.
Well, you did the hard part for us. You came up with this design. You're
I had
showing
to
us.
play with them. Yeah, I had to play with these beads for a while
Well, yeah, you
until,
had to figure out what fits together. So like now we just
yes.
get to copy you, and I love that.
Yeah, it takes a while. I mean, eventually you figure it out, but it takes a while to figure out how, actually the first one that I did was a little bit different than this. It had more beads and it was a
Mhm.
little bit too overcrowded. So then I had to find a way to make it less, bunched up. And
Yeah.
I eliminated some seed beads and, and this is the final design. So now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you push that loop as far in as you can. Okay, so it's nice and snug before you kink it. And you just kink it. Snip off the excess, leaving whatever you want, 3/8 of an inch or however big loop you want. 3/8 to half an inch, something like that. Grab it and form a loop. Make sure it's centered and closed. And that's it. There it is.
There's our dangle, our focal. That's so cool.
Actually, let me
It
straighten this.
dances. I mean, it dances because it has, movement and flair, but it also by using all these multi-tone beads. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So yeah, all of these beads, the only were in the Woodland Fairy Sam's bead box, and then you just added the chain, some wire,
Yes,
and the 15 seed beads, but the
that's
rest is
it.
in the box.
That's it.
And now you added this to a necklace, but that's not the only thing, right? You also
Yeah, I
made
made a
some.
pair. Yeah, you can make it. You can make a pair of earrings with the same exact component. You can also use more daggers. Like if you wanted something more substantial, you could use 6 daggers. But then, of course, the hole in the middle would be bigger. So then you would have to make sure that this bead doesn't slide down through it.
Yeah.
So you can
And
use 6. Yeah, you can use 5, 6 daggers. You can even use 7 daggers if you wanted to.
yeah.
You could actually do something where you put the daggers together, like 5 underneath, and then another set on top of that. I don't know. I'd have to play around with it, but yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities. So of
Yeah,
course, you
because
could.
someone could take this base pattern of kind of doing this. We're basically like doing this circling, making this column of beads, but you can totally play around with the size and the layers and all of that.
Exactly, and then of course you could definitely these make adorable earrings for
Oh my
sure.
God, I can't believe it hiding these from everyone. You guys, look at them as earrings. Isn't
You can
that
make earrings.
fabulous? You can make a matching set.
You can make a matching set. For earrings, if you wanted to, the dangles can be shorter if you want, if you didn't want them
Mhm.
so long like this. Now, do you want me to show the looped, the Y wrapped loop, this little dangle, how to do
Sure,
that?
yeah. Why don't we do that? And
For
then,
those, yeah,
yeah,
for those who are new and don't know, I'm sure most of the viewers
no,
know
it's
how to
always
do
good
that.
to recap. Yeah.
So let me just grab a bead. Hold on a second.
And then after this, we're going to do a little recap of some of the other necklaces that Louisa has made with the box. These are ones that we didn't think needed like a whole class to go over, but we just thought we'd take a little closer look at some of her other necklaces so that
For
you guys can
inspiration.
see a little bit more about how to make them. And so if you have questions, you'll be able to ask Louisa. So we'll have a few more inspiration ideas for you all after
Yep.
this.
Yep. All right. So I'm using a 6 millimeter 5 polish bead, which is the same one that I used there. And basically, this is a ball head pin. You just slide the bead onto the ball head pin like this, and get your round nose pliers, put them underneath like this, right above the bead, right on top of the bead, I should say. Bend the ball head pin, switch to this part of the ball head pin like this, wrap it around the nose of the pliers, flip the pliers around, wrap to the back. Now, before you close off or do the wraps, you have to open up the loop. You would open up the loop like this, insert your chain into it, okay, and then close it back up. I don't have a piece of chain right now. Actually, I do. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and show you that step. All right, so you would open up the loop before you do the wraps, slide a piece of chain into it, like this. As you can see, the chain is inside that loop. And now I'm going to grab the loop with these pliers. These are actually crimping pliers, but I like to use them because they have a nice skinny tip. And they grab really well. And with these pliers, I'm going to grab the end and do my wraps. Just like that. Whoops. And now I'm going to snip off the excess. And of course, always tuck in your ends so there's nothing sharp sticking out. And that's how you do the dangle. Very simple.
Fabulous. All
That's how I
right. Well,
did all of them. Yeah.
those are complete steps for our fairy necklace and earrings.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Louisa. Will you do you want to pull up some of your other
Yeah.
designs?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and show you the other projects.
Oh my gosh.
Is that
All right.
centered? I'm not sure if you can see all of that, but
Would you bring the one with the amethyst druzy pendant? Would you bring let's look at that one first if you want to kind of center that
this
one.
one here,
Yeah.
this one here. Okay. All right. So yeah, basically the way I did this was very simple. It's a choker style. My Alexa keeps talking to me. It's a choker length. Okay. So it sits at the collarbone, somewhere around there. And I used the amethyst, the beautiful, oh my gosh, these were so delicious. These amethysts, the 8 millimeter size faceted amethysts, and the 8 millimeter size druck rounds from that bead mix that I showed you. And I just linked them, you know, so that I could get the length that I wanted.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not, this is very easy because whatever length you need, you can make up by adding the chain at the top, this chain right here.
Mhm.
So I did that part, and then I had to figure out the length of these. So it just all depends on how much of a drape you want, basically. And I did beaded components, and each one of these beaded components has a 4 millimeter druck round in the middle and two little 3 millimeter fire polish uh, amethyst colored beads on each end, on each side. And then I did beaded components, and I linked all of them with jump rings. These are 5 millimeters in size. And then I also attached one of these little copper charms, leaf charms.
Wow. And then how did you bring it together in the center?
So, okay, I was a little bit um, torn because that's gold, but I've done mixed metal things before. So I thought, well, okay, I'll tie the whole thing in by adding a gold jump ring in the middle. And that's what I did. I just added that 6 millimeter.
Oh, it
It's
works.
actually 6.5 millimeter. Yeah. You could tie it in even further by adding gold chain at the top if you wanted to, or gold jump rings in between each of these beaded components if you wanted to tie it in further. But after I did that, I thought, you know what, that looks just fine. It looks, it's
Yeah.
enough. It looks, to me, it looked fine. And
Okay, so just one
that's
jump ring
basic,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then with double strand or multi-strand necklaces, there's always the problem when you put it on that I don't know if you've experienced this, but they kind of get a little tangled up.
Yeah.
So it's always a good idea to add a component at the top where where the two connect. So right above that, add the component, and that gives it a little bit more sturdiness, if that makes
And
sense.
you're saying
Instead of
going right
just chain,
here?
yeah, instead of just chain,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Okay,
It
cool.
just makes it. I mean, it's still going to tangle up. That's the nature of multi-strand necklaces. But if you add that component, the component at the top before the chain, it just makes it easier to detangle or untangle or whatever. So that's how I did
Wonderful.
this one. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else is on this tray.
So these are the ones that we did last week. Was it? No, was it this set?
Two weeks ago, yeah. So we have a full class on the Sam's Bead Shop YouTube channel if you
Maybe it
want
was
to learn
this
how
set.
to make these viney decorative earrings.
Yeah, we did these two, and we talked about how you can make them longer depending on how much wire you use, how many wraps you have in between the beads, how much you bend them. If you bend them a lot, obviously it gets shorter. So these are very versatile. These are actually very easy as well to make. And of course, the back has the wrap. You can see the wire coming through the back of that bead across the back and across the back of this one. So that's this pair. And then, here's another version using different beads. And here's another version, a little bit smaller, a little bit more dainty. So that's the nice thing about these. You can make them whatever length that you want. And then we didn't do these. This one, these actually go with this set here a little
Yeah,
bit.
they're kind of like cluster earrings.
Yeah, they have the same beads, the 8 millimeter beads, and the same leaf charms as you can see. And then I just basically attached, using one jump ring, I attached a bunch of little dangles, as you can see.
Would you
So
hold that down just slightly closer to the mat, I think? Yeah,
like
perfect.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just gets a
So
little more in focus.
so I attached a jump ring onto this loop of this component, this beaded component, and then on the jump ring, each jump ring, these they have about 7 charms or dangles. So
Oh, okay.
each jump ring has 4 of these druck rounds and 3 of the leaf charms. So it's just one jump ring right there. And that's how you get that little cluster effect.
Fabulous.
So that's for this set, for this necklace. And then we did this one last week as well.
Oh, yeah, the charm bracelet.
Mhm. Using all the different, using a
Yeah.
lot of the beads. I can't even, we used a lot of different, we used the 3 millimeter fire polish. We used the little flower beads. We used these check leaf beads. We used this beautiful focal right here.
Yeah, if folks are wanting to make this design, I think or make a lot of these designs you're seeing today, the easiest thing is to go to the link in the description and I would just grab the entire box. It's like, I think it's over $90 of beads for only $65. So it's on an amazing deal. We still have extras of this box, and that's going to let you make a ton of these different designs. So
Yes, you can
got to
definitely,
shout that out.
everything that I'm showing you right now, pretty much, I believe, except for maybe the flower beads. But the necklaces and of course the second bracelet that takes up beads as well. But yeah, pretty much you can make the necklaces, the bracelet, a set of
Yeah.
earrings, at least one set, maybe two sets if you include this one, and the one that I showed you with the dagger beads, the fairy necklace. So you can make a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really, there are so many options in that box. There really are. So let me show you another one. Hold on a second.
I know. I was like, I think there's another tray, right? Okay.
Yeah, I
Cool.
have another tray. Hold on.
And if folks have any questions as they're seeing these, please let us know. This is kind of the bonus class here at the end.
Yeah. So this one was a little bit more complex because it involves a lot of structure here, as you can see with the chain. You got to figure out the length of the chain so that it sits right below this little pendant. And then that's basically the only difficult part is just figuring out
Okay.
this, you
That
don't have a
little.
lot of space here, so you have to figure out the length of this chain. But yeah, basically it's the same technique that I used with the other necklace. I made beaded components and connected them with a segment of chain. In this case, I used two lengths, a piece of chain with two lengths in between each one. And then these are the same beads. These are actually cathedral beads and the
Yeah.
flower beads, and I just alternated. At the top, I used cathedral beads only, and that's basically it. And I wire wrap these leaf beads. These are so pretty. I love these. I love that they're clear on one side and they got that finish on the other side. So that's this one. And then we have this bracelet. We have the chips on one side and we have 6mm rounds on this side and this beautiful focal. And I used beading wire for this. And of course I have the little dangles below. And then we have this necklace, which is very simple. This one just has the dagger beads, sets of two, because to me it looks like little dragonfly wings. And then I did add seed beads in between each one because you need that to space them out. Otherwise, they don't sit properly. They kind of flip flop like this. So you need to have some spacer bead in between. And I used 11 seed beads in between all of these beads down here.
Wonderful. And that's another way to use the daggers if folks want to do it an even simpler way to use them.
Very, very simple. And I used beading wire. But yeah, initially when I first made this one, I didn't put any seed beads in between. And what happens is the dagger beads end up doing this thing where one sits up and one sits down. They don't sit flat. But if you add a seed bead in between, now
Oh,
now I'm not having that problem because of the curve, the way they curved.
yeah.
You need something in between them. And I think I even tried 15 and 15 weren't big enough either. So the 11 sits perfectly in between the two beads at the top like that. So that's it. That's this one.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you mind actually flipping your camera around and
Okay.
we'll wrap things up?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. All right. Louise is going to flip her camera back so that way we can wrap up our class. But I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you guys try out making this dagger fairy dragonfly piece that you could decide, do you want to make that into earrings? Do you want to make it into a necklace? Whatever suits your fancy. It would be, I guess if you made it on a bracelet, it would be a very large dangle. You'd have quite the jewelry coming off
Well,
your head.
don't they sell dagger beads that are smaller though? Like,
That's true. So true.
do you guys carry them in your store? Like you can
Yeah,
make,
we've carried like some like 3x10s or 3x11s. That would help if you just want to do like an accent.
or if you wanted earrings that are more dainty or whatever, you can
Mhm.
use the smaller dagger beads. But
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work though with the 15. I guess it would still work. You may have to play around with a number of 15 seed beads
Yeah.
underneath each one. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'd have to experiment with
Yeah.
that.
No, you'd have to evolve it, but it would start with the same core idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
my
but as
gosh.
you saw, it was very easy. So I know a lot of people are very intimidated by bead weaving or they're frustrated by it.
Yeah.
But just remember, you only have 20 seed beads to do.
Yeah.
Just
So
20.
be
If you can get
patient.
through those
Yes.
20,
You can do it.
you have to do
I
each
love
step
that.
5 times. That's it. And then you're done. So,
No, this is such a quick win project. I mean, yes, we took an hour to do our class today and go in depth, but like, your first one might take you a while, but then
yeah.
especially if you make a couple of them, like you're just going to start to really learn that pattern and that flow and it'll become even easier. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You may have trouble with the tension, maybe in between,
Mhm.
something like that. But yeah, as long as you follow the same route that I took,
Yeah.
you know, counterclockwise, and just follow that along and know how to step up in between rows, you'll be okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the most challenging part, I think.
Well, I got to thank all of you for joining and thank you, Louisa, for collaborating with us and doing all of these classes. This has
My
been such
pleasure.
a
My
special
pleasure. It was a
thing.
lot of fun. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. I loved the whole collection. It was gorgeous. And if you guys haven't seen the unboxing, which I'm sure most of you have, please take a look because the whole box was absolutely beautiful. It really was.
It was so special. I'm losing my voice a little here, but thank you all. If you want to subscribe, you can join us at samsbeadbox.com and then you could subscribe for the November box. You have until tomorrow if you want to subscribe and be able to get it at the subscriber price, which is only $49 a month plus shipping. So that is like an incredible value. So we have a brand new theme for November. It's a secret. It's always a secret. Louisa doesn't even know.
I don't even know. No, I want to know, but you're not going to
But
tell me.
when it arrives at your place, it's shipped out. We've already got the first batch. Everyone who's already subscribed, we got those shipped out. Or they're getting shipped out. We have a bunch some got picked up yesterday, some are getting picked up today. But you can still do it this Saturday and we'll get it out for you early next week. So
Awesome.
that's what's going on. Anything, Louisa, you want to shout out
No,
that folks
that's
should
it.
look
I mean,
forward
I
to?
appreciate everybody, watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I, gave you some ideas, some inspiration, play around with it, come up with your own ideas. You can top off that little dagger bead flower with all kinds of other beads on top. It doesn't have to be what I did, and have fun with it.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you all so much again. We'll talk to you later. Bye,
All right,
everyone.
bye.